Hello and welcome to my live stream, 4 ways to make money in stocks. Now, I did this screening a couple of days back, live streaming a couple of days back, but of course, due to internet problems, I was not able to complete it on YouTube. The Instagram went well. So here I am without wasting any more time getting into 4 ways to make money in stocks. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to be focusing on the styles which I have followed for the last 10 years. There are hundreds and hundreds of ways to make money in the stock markets. But if you want to make it into a consistent source of income, then you have to go for the methods which have got high probability of success. Okay. In markets, you have to have probability, the chances on your side. Without that, there is no income. The market still remains as a gamble for you. And it does not matter how fancy or how cutting edge your strategy is. Ultimately, it has to be a source of income. If you don't want to earn source of income, you just want to make it into a fun, entertaining side hustle, that's also fine. Again, I'm not against it. But if you want to make income from markets, I think these are the 4 best ways through which you can make income from markets. Okay. Now, we will be looking into the kind of returns you get from them. Obviously, what do you get out of following these methods? Second, I'm going to be telling what kind of time frame is required to work with this kind of work with the kind of methods I'm teaching. And of course, we have to understand that stock market is a business. So what kind of capital would you need? I'll go through that as well quickly. And very important, with money capital, you also need knowledge capital. Okay. So the knowledge capital is also going to be uh, will also going to be calculated in it. Okay, so let's just quickly see what are the 4 of them. Okay, I'm going to quickly test my audio. Hopefully audio is okay. Yeah. All right, so let's begin with the first method that I recommend everybody start, and this is really good for beginners as well. Okay, and okay, now, before I get into the 4 methods, let me tell you, risk I'm not going to be covering in this. Please assume and understand this, that there is inherent risk in stock market, period. Okay. So don't let anybody fool you. No matter what method I'm discussing, there's always going to be a risk of losing money. So please be careful. Put only the money you can afford to risk, learn it properly. And as you build your skill, of course, you'll get better. Okay. So you have to develop that skill and patience and knowledge to execute these. All right. So the disclaimer is out of the way. The first method that I recommend everybody to start making money in the markets is IPOs. Okay. And currently you can see right now, as of recording this, we've just started with another IPO season. Now, IPO is nothing but you applying for a company when it is not listed in the market. You're basically blocking funds in your bank account through ASBA, and you're sending an application to the company which is releasing its shares. Okay, in foundation course I talk about the entire process of IPOs, but right now just understand this. Before company shares are available in market, you can buy them from company and they have a limited period offer. And there are of course no charts, no price indicators on screen, so you cannot trade in them, but you can check their fundamentals. That means you can understand what is the business behind the company and try to buy the stocks of companies whose shares will be listed in a positive way in the markets. Okay, so IPO stands for initial public offering, and before they're invested in markets, you can buy them from company and sell it in the market. The best part about IPOs is that they usually come when the market is in full bull mode. Okay, because that is the advantage. The probability or the market sentiment is already in your favor when you're investing in an IPO, because IPOs generally tend to be released right around heavy bull market, especially when a particular industry is in favor. That is the time the company decide, because they get better pricing, better subscription for it. And of course, as investors, we have an advantage that we get that slight push. Okay, now of course you have to choose the right company, don't get me wrong, but you also get push from market, so the probability is very very high of creating income, a good returns. And I'll show you last year's track record, the IPOs that I recommended. Not all companies are worth applying for, but you get really really high rate of success in IPOs if you choose the right companies. Now, think of it like, going to the farmer and buying the proceed instead of going to the market. Okay, so the farmer is the company and they are giving away their share. So you buy it from the company and sell it in the market. And the day you sell it, the first day it is listed in NSE or BSE, you sell it and you make something known as listing gains. Also, it's not compulsory to immediately sell those shares. You can choose to keep them, but if you just buy from the company and sell it on day one, then it is known as listing day gains. And the kind of returns that you can get from this is about 10% on day one to also 100%. That is correct. You can actually double your money in on the same day which company gets listed. Okay, and I'll show you some examples from last year as well. And the total turnaround time, how much time frame do you need for this? 15 days. So generally company has got a 3-day period in which they keep an open offer, and then the offer is closed. Only limited amount of shares are released, of course. And once that offer is closed, nobody can, of course, further apply and buy it from a company. They'll have to go to the market. And from the closing of the offer, it takes about 10 business days, 10 working days for them to be available in the stock markets to be listed. So I would say 15 days is roughly the time you can consider, 15 working days for this amount of trading. So you apply and you take listing gains in 15 days. Okay, so even 10% return, even 5% return in 15 days is actually phenomenal. And if you're able to do it at a rate of say 80 to 90%, then definitely this becomes one of those sources of income for you. And the kind of capital that you would need is 15,000, because for retail investors minimum is a 15,000 mark, because you're buying in bulk, you're buying IPO. Minimum entry ticket is 15,000 for one lot. Okay, now I recommend applying for multiple lots. So I would say 1 lakh to 1.5 lakh would be a good amount to start off with. But of course, since you're starting, you can also start with just a simple 15K as well. All right, now the knowledge capital that you need for is very important. This is a pure fundamentals game. Okay, you need to understand how the sectors are performing, because a particular company from a sector or an industry, let's say IT industry or IT sector. Okay, if the IT sector is doing really well right now, then that particular company listed in the market gives explosive returns. Okay, and you need to understand if the company is really valued low when you're buying it from the company, so that when the market opens up for that, those particular shares, they're listed at a higher price. Okay, or at least in the future they have the tendency to grow. So the quality of the company is extremely important. And also you need to learn valuations. Okay, valuations are important, because otherwise how are you going to judge whether the company's IPO is at overpriced or underpriced? Okay, of course you don't want to buy an overpriced IPOs, and that's the biggest mistake. Okay, don't just buy any company, because sometimes they have higher prices and you'll end up making a loss when they're listing. Okay, now very important key thing to remember is that IPOs are released in limited quantity. So there is an aspect of allotment issue, and that's why I recommend applying at with multiple lots, because then you have higher chance of getting the particular stock. Now, in my fundamental investors training, I've given an entire lecture, 1.5 hours, of how I execute this IPO strategy. Those who are interested can put it in the comments below, or let me know in the let me know via WhatsApp if you guys are interested in learning that. August is going to be investors month. I guess that is the time I will be doing that. I'll be promoting that particular course. So definitely stick around on this channel and Instagram to know more about it. Okay, so now let me show you examples from what was my last year's track record. Now I have been investing in IPOs for the last 10 years, but this year I also had my clients to whom I recommended which IPOs to apply and which not to apply. I have a series of email. I have a paid email client list whom I send IPOs to be bought or sold. Okay, so last year SBI card I'm still holding. By the way, currently SBI card is at 1,000 rupees, so it's technically not in losses, but it did not give listing gains because that is the day the virus pandemic had hit. Okay, this was March 16. So right during the lockdown days when the market was taking a crash, that's why the company was good but did not list great. But that's fine, because the rest of the stock, July onwards, when the market started turning around again into the bull mode, Rosario Biotech had 74% listing gain. It went up to 185% later. Day one, 13%, 21%, 131% Burger King, Vector Food 106% on day one. Okay, then we have Indigo at 109, 66% for Nureca, 29% for Railtel, and then Hiram Industries, another chemical company, 29% for this. So on an average, if you look at it, 49% was an average listing target for a particular for that particular till about last March to March. Okay, so I'm not saying you would have gotten all of the stock, because yes, the chances of winning in a particular IPO, because it's a lot system and limited stocks are there, you don't get many. But even if you had gotten one or two stocks, okay, and one or two lots for any particular company, you would have definitely made, let's say you have applied 1 lakh, you could have made about 20 25,000 to maximum 30,000 on that as well. And of course later you always have a choice to keep these companies and earn more returns. If the companies are good, then they end up going at a higher rate as well. So again, that is the second part of the strategy, that is an investment strategy. But if you just want to do listing gains, I think this is a very good place to start off with. And beginners should, because the beginners can actually see how a company fundamentals are rewarded in the market instantly, okay, in 15 days, rather than waiting for years and years. So this is like a combination between trading and investing. So I definitely recommend you guys to start doing it. Of course, make sure you learn it properly, and remember, there is always going to be risk, so be prepared for that as well. Okay, I don't want to repeat myself, but in every method in market, there is always going to be risk, so be careful. All right, now the next lesson, the next style of making money from market is going to be investing. Okay, now the best way to grow wealth in market is investing. Okay, if you know Warren Buffett, Rakesh Jhunwala, all these big names, they've made massive amounts of wealth using investing. And what is investing? Simply buying a stock today and selling it after at least 1 2 3 years. Okay, so long-term investing, which is what the market was intended for. You buy a stock, you stay with the company for years and years, and as the company grows, the value of your stock will grow. And that's the whole idea behind investing. Okay, stay invested in the company. So it's a long-term play, of course. And the reason why markets exist is because of investing. Okay, the stock market entirely was created for investing. Now of course we can do trading, we can do a lot of other things, but this is the most organic form of making money from the markets, and I don't think anybody should be missing out on this. Okay, you might be a trader, you might be an options trader, you might be just an intraday trader. Okay, depending on whatever type of trading or investing or style that you're following, even if you're there in futures market, I would recommend that you should always have investing at the base of all of your source of income. That is where you'll grow your wealth. Okay, this is like buying property. So the returns that I have personally got is from 10% to 400% for holding stocks for a long period of time. Okay, and of course this is just because for around 400 is the maximum that I have made on stocks, but there are people who have made more money and more returns as well. And I'm sure if I continue to hold some stocks for a longer period of time, I could see some 5 times 6 times money made from my initial investment as well. Okay, so what is the time frame I'm looking for? I generally recommend 1 to 3 years to get the best returns from the stock. In spite of being a highly impatient person, I think initially, now I've become patient to understand, because I've become patient because now I understand that the longer you can hold on to good companies, the kind of returns that are made are going to be way higher than any kind of short-term trading or investing you're making. Okay, so net, if this is going to be your part-time source of income, should definitely focus on investing as well. The capital required is a little bit interesting, because you can start off with 500 rupees, you can buy one stock. Okay, it has happened to I think one of my friends who bought a stock, just one stock at 400 rupees, which was Venki's, and it went up to 2000 rupees. Okay, so again, entry is very small. You can buy one or two stocks of any company and still make these kind of returns. But I would recommend if you can go up to, let's say, 1 lakh rupees, again, you have a good starting point. But you don't have to start off in one day. You don't have to invest all the money today. You can do it in increments. As you're learning about markets, as your experience and knowledge about market is increasing, you can start putting in rest of the money. But have some decent capital in mind. Have a target that, okay, fine, I will have a portfolio of this size, so that you can make substantial returns on your investment. So now, what kind of knowledge would you need? Obviously, again, the same fundamental analysis which you use for IPOs can be used for long term as well. The study is pretty much the same. It's just the style of exit. That means when do you sell is going to change slightly. Okay. So, of course, in fundamentals, we go through everything, right from economy, how it impacts the businesses, the entire industry, what is the company doing, how to evaluate company, which is the best company in the industry, and ratios, which are basically numbers of the company. If you understand this clearly, you can have the higher chance of getting the picking up those companies which are going to make it huge in future. Okay, to find that today, you need to understand exactly how they stand in their businesses, and that is what fundamental analysis is all about. Okay, so just to illustrate a couple of examples, let me take you to my Sharekhan account. This is my main investing account. And as you can see, some of my top investments, DMart, I invested during IPO time, is at 489%. Today market, of course, market fell recently, but still these top investments are still there. Larsen and Turbo Infotech is at 479% returns, and Radico, which has just come up, is at 404.8%. Also, if you look at CAMS was a last year IPO. It is more than doubled this year itself. Again, this is an IPO that I sold some of it on day one during listing gains itself, and I kept most of it back because I knew the company has potential to grow. Now, this is not a recommendation for anybody to buy or sell any particular stock. Okay, this is just to show you what kind of returns are possible if you take the long term route. Okay, now I'm going to show you the time frame of holding for most of these stocks. Okay, if I go to my detailed report and I look at let's say DMart, I'll show you what I have bought DMart in 20 December of 2017. So it's almost 5 years done. Okay, also I bought some more in uh, October 2017. Okay, at a higher price in the market as well. These of course came from off market because I had multiple accounts from which I was consolidating them in my own account. Okay, so that brings to an average price of 562, but holding period is well, almost I don't think the timing, yeah, almost 1300 days. Okay, so four and a half years easily. Then if you look at Radico, again, same story. At Radico, I kept buying throughout small and small quantities. Someday I'll go into elaborate stories, but I started buying it in 2016 at a price of 143. Okay, and my maximum price of buying that stock was at 458 as well. Even at 400 rupees, I was still buying the stock because I had faith in the fundamentals, and my initial buying price was really low. Okay, so again, holding period of almost 1700 days over here. So this kind of returns are possible if you are able to hold on to a stock. Okay, so remember that, study them properly, and hold. A holding period is also very, very important to get maximum returns in your investment. Okay, so going back to our third and the most popular way of making money, trading is of course good because you can use daily charts. You can also use intraday trading. There are many ways of trading, as I've discussed, but I prefer using daily charts because it gives me the freedom of staying away from the markets and peacefully trading without having to worry about making the timing absolutely correct or sticking 4 to 8 hours in front of the screen. Also, the stocks which are currently in favor, if you're reading daily charts, it also gives you a lot of triggers to enter fundamentally strong stocks. Okay, it tells you exactly what kind of stocks will have the highest chance of hitting their particular target, because you're going to only choose stocks that are currently in public favor. Okay, the fundamentals of a company might be great, but if people are not buying or selling those stocks, then there is no way you're going to make money in them. So trading, of course, is a very good short-term buying and selling activity where you buy a stock and sell it within 1 year's period of time. And I prefer a specific period of time because it helps me avoid any kind of short-term market fluctuations and too much time in front of the screen. Okay, which again, probabilities are stacked against you when you're trading in intraday. Just remember that even in a smaller time frame, daily is a little slower, more relaxed, and for me and for anybody who wants to trade markets part-time, I think daily charts are the best. So what I do is I usually place my trades around 10 a.m. and I do my analysis at 4 p.m. after markets. So I'm usually in the markets only for 10 to 15 minutes just to execute my trades, not to sit and wait for my targets to be hit, or nah, I don't analyze any charts during market hours. And very important, something that you can easily do by using daily charts is to avoid false breakouts. I link the video to false breakouts below. But false breakout basically happens when a stock hits your technical level or goes through a particular technical level and immediately retracts back. Now, this is usually done by giant funds and big money, or the smart money as we like to call it in the markets, because they want to get a better price. So what they do is they usually take a short-term position in a particular stock so that the retail investors jump in and then they execute. They have their own reasons. It's their profession to get the best price in the market. So they use technical analysis in a different way than us. But in daily charts, you can easily see whether a particular fund has done a short-term breakout just to get that price. And I would say price, not manipulation, but price adjustment for themselves, a price opportunity for themselves. But in daily, it's very clear whether they are going to hold on to that position or not. So that's something which can be easily avoided most of the time. I would say about 90% of those false breakouts can be avoided if you just trade on daily charts, because at the end of the day, whatever you see on the charts is a little more confirmed than what you see within the day. Okay, it's as simple as that. So follow the big money is the lesson, and you're able to do that on daily charts. The returns are somewhere between 10% to 50%. I've seen all kind of ranges over here depending on time frame I prefer is 1 to 6 months. Anything beyond 6 months is still, I would say, beyond trading range, but I have had positions a little longer than that as well. But in current markets, 1 to 3 months is where you're hitting your targets. If the market slows down a little bit, then 1 to 6 months is also where you should be able to comfortably hold on to your positions. Okay, now, the capital that I recommend you start off with is 30,000 rupees, although you can start with lower or higher money. But the reason that I tell you to start off with a substantial amount is that you should do you should be able to have position in multiple stocks, because one stock may or may not hit the target. Okay, trading is short term and it is always going to have the susceptibility of market fluctuations. Okay, so sometimes you might hit your target, sometimes you might hit your stop loss. Okay, so you should be able to take the stop loss and still take another position. So if you have a substantial amount, then you can spread your bets among 5, 10, 15 positions depending on what kind of charts you look at. And then overall your portfolio will grow up. And I'll show you in my example of another trading account. I just started trading with a smaller funded account so that I can show you how you can use these daily charts to grow your money and have a second source of income. Okay, and 30,000 is just a starting amount. As you grow your expertise and your experience, you can increase the amount as well. And if you're new, you can also start off with a lower amount. A very important tool that you need to learn is technical analysis. You need to know exactly how charts work. Okay, you need to know charts, you need to know trading psychology. That means your own mindset when you're in this position, because market is going to be crazy. Your mind needs to be relaxed and calm. Okay, so you need to understand trading psychology. You're managing your own psychology and understanding what is happening in the market. Okay, so if you combine this with proper money management, then trading can also be a short-term business through which you can make returns. Okay, and what kind of, now this can be a source of income as well. Why? Because unlike investing where your holding period is long, here holding period is short, so you can definitely create quarterly cash profits that can add to your sources of income. So let me show you a recent trade that I took. I've posted this on YouTube as well. This was Gridwell Norton, and I had taken an entry on 4th of May. I linked this video, or you can check out my Speed Breaker trading playlist where I'm updating my trades as I'm taking them. And the entry was triggered at 950 above based on a chart pattern that I saw. I had marked it over here as well. I think so. Yeah. Based on a chart pattern. And the target was 1200, 1240. Stop loss was at 790. So every time you're trading, you have to keep a stop loss as well, because sometimes you may not be right and you need to stop your losses. Okay. So what happened in couple of days? I think this was 4th of May. On 11th, the stock took a nice jump, and as you can see, it went and made up a high of 1249 the same day. So I chose to exit the stock. As you can see, it flew up, and decent returns were made on it at a very, very quick pace. Another stock that I can show you, hopefully, if I can. Yeah, so this is my small account. Wait, let me refresh this. Yeah, this is current. These are current positions. Again, I'm not recommending to buy. I'm just going to show you my capital gains positions from here so that the recent stock trades can be shown. Okay, capital gain. Yeah. So this is my trading account, short-term capital gain. So this is the kind of returns I'm making from Grindwell Norton was a recent case. Average buying at 1000, selling at 1242. Indian Hotel had bought at around 114, sold at 118 because again was not showing a good promise. Polymed, I had to take a stop loss, so you can see there was losses in that. Then there was Polycab, which I bought at 1386, sold at almost 1786. 1800 was the target, but I sold it a little early. And Star Cement was based on fundamentals. Wipro was another chart. Bought and sold very quickly on a very shorter time frame. But again, I'll be updating more and more of my daily chart patterns. I think Graphite and PSU Bank Bs are going to be slightly longer term bets, but as and when I book profit in them, I'll be updating it in my YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and stay updated so you can see this actually work out. And I'll also reveal my total returns this year purely based on charts. So again, third source of income that I use is trading. I recommend that as well. And finally, the fourth and one of the most complicated, I would say not complicated, but misunderstood forms of making money in the markets is options. Okay. Now, if you do not understand options at this point of time, I would recommend do not worry about it. Do not try to understand it forcefully. Get experienced in the market. Okay. I don't recommend options for beginners at all, because you need to understand the basics of market. You need to understand how trading works, how investing works, and then getting into options makes a lot of sense. Now, what do you do options for? You use options for monthly rent. Okay. That means on a monthly basis, this is one of those methods through which you can make consistent income in markets. Okay. This comes the closest, but it's a little more challenging than your stocks or you're just trading based on charts. Okay. Now, Warren Buffett has also used options in a very, very smart way. And the options are versatile sources of income where a lot of opportunities are created. But do not use them only for trading or only for buying. You need to use strategies properly. Okay. And in options, you can use time value of money to profit from it. About 80 to 90% accuracy can be achieved if you look at options from the perspective of creating rent. It means small and consistent source of income, or becoming an insurance seller, because options essentially are insurance agreements. Insurance that you can take on your portfolio, or insurance you can take on a particular stock. Okay. Now, the kind of returns I would say if you want to have that high accuracy in options, 1 to 2% per month is possible without taking much risk and getting very, very high returns. And 80 to 90% accuracy in any other method is not possible. For higher return, it's not possible. So everybody says, like, why would you trade in the markets for 1 or 2%, right? But if you look at it, even if you're, let's say, making 1% every month, okay, and you have 80% accuracy, so 10 months you've made 1%, 2 months you've made some losses, still your net returns, okay, if you cross somewhere close to 10%, that means you're making way more money than an average FD. And if you're able to do 2% a month, okay, and you're trading with 80% accuracy, you're still able to do at least 18 to 24% per annum, which is better than any other mutual fund. Okay, and the best of all, you can use your existing portfolio to generate 1 to 2% returns as well. You don't need to take out extra cash for it. Okay, however, this is again, there's a little more complex subject, requires a little more experience and expertise. So I would recommend beginners not to get into options yet. I think after, in about 3 months, I will come up with my options course as well, because every month we are focusing on one. This month was foundations, next month we're going to focus on technicals and charts and trading. In August we'll be doing investors month, and after that I'll be doing the options month. So stay tuned on this channel and stay updated, I mean stick around with my Instagram and YouTube, so that you are updated on those trainings as well. But without training, again, this becomes a very, very dangerous tool, so be careful. Now, turnaround time for this is very simple. You can make place trades worth 1 month, and within 1 month, you can see your result of whether profit or loss takes place. And that is how you can generate monthly income on every expiry. The capital I recommend is 65 to 1.5 lakhs. 65K is the initial starting to set up a strategy. You can buy options for cheaper price, but I don't recommend buying as a straightforward option. Buying should be done in a very, very special cases. Okay, so I'm not saying that you cannot buy and sell options with lesser capital, but to execute these 1 to 2% per month strategies, which are going to create regular income, you need a little more capital, and the higher capital you have, the better comfort you will have and the better chances of winning you can set up. Okay, the course that you need to learn before getting into options, before do anything with options, is derivatives. Okay, learn derivatives, what exactly are derivatives, how option pricing takes place, what is probability, how to use probability to win in options. These would be the proper subjects that you need to master, along of course with trading psychology, because you need to keep your mind really, really cool, especially with options, because the pricing of options is slightly different from your regular stocks, and you can see some crazy movements, and it should not mess with your own head. Okay, so if I were to show you one example, uh, I'm going to take you to my Sensible account. Now, before you start trading with actual money, you can start off with Sensible. I'll leave a link down below if you want to start trading with virtual money. Sensible becomes is a very nice platform to trade futures and options. And I recommend starting with this rather than burning your money. Okay, and this is a trade that I have executed for this month. As you can see, I took a couple of positions together in combination. That is an option strategy. Unfortunately, this video is not going to be I would say in this video I will not be able to explain exactly what I did. Maybe in later consequent videos I will explain what kind of strategy I had used. But with a capital of around 1.5 lakhs, I was able to generate 4,000 rupees. Okay, and of course there's a sample trade, but 4,000 rupees on 1.5 lakh is actually pretty decent return. Okay, because 2% of 1.5 lakh is almost 3,000 rupees. This is slightly more than 2% on that particular capital. Okay, so this consistently done can create, again, if I had used 10 lots, I could have made 40,000 in this. So depending on what kind of income you want to generate, you can have that size of capital as well. But as I said, you need the right kind of experience for this as well. Okay, so these were the four methods of creating income: IPOs, investing, trading, and options. Now, if you want to get started in the stock markets right, or if you have friends who want to get started in the markets right, tomorrow I've kept a free Zoom webinar, 7 steps to getting started in stocks. Now, if you're watching this video after 20th of June, then this video will be available only for a short period of time. You can use the link below to join my WhatsApp group and attend this training for free, where I will be taking you step by step exactly how should be your path to getting into the stock markets. Basically, when do you start with foundations? How do you learn, and you go through the right process to reach where to a point where you're using all these four methods of making money from the markets. Okay, so we're going to set up a right roadmap for you to getting started in stock markets. All right, so if you want to attend, you guys can just join in right now. The WhatsApp group link would be there in my IG as well. And otherwise, if you like this video, definitely put a like, click the like button. And I'm going to be doing a lot of live stream in the coming month. I think every Wednesday I will be doing a live stream next month as well. So if you want to attend all those trainings for free, just subscribe to this channel and be sure to click on the bell icon so that you're notified whenever I'm live on screen. And let me know in the comments below which method did you like first, which method was something that you prefer to be to create a source of income. I would like to know that, and I can then guide you towards the right kind of training, and I can also make the right kind of videos based on that. All right, thank you so much guys, thank you so much for listening in. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.